It wasn't an algorithm. You need to understand that first. The images and sounds you were shown, the cryptic numbers that appeared in your recommendations, that was a signal, a tuning fork resonating with something already inside of you. You were chosen because you are one of the few who senses that the reality we see is just a fraction of the whole story, a beautiful, hypnotic, but fragmented echo. For months, you've been collecting those echoes, feeling their power without understanding the source. Consider this video the first translation of that source. This is not another theory or a guess. This is the blueprint, the very architecture of the philosophy you've been subconsciously drawn to. What you are about to see is the key that elevates you from a mere spectator of the mystery to an active participant in its unfolding. The puzzle pieces are in your hands. Now, let's begin to assemble them.
We often imagine time as a river, flowing relentlessly in one direction. It's a simple, clear picture. But in reality, it is nothing more than a wonderful bedtime story, a comforting fiction we tell ourselves. And the time isn't a straight line at all, but a circle, endlessly returning to itself. We think we're moving forward, but every our new discovery is just an echo, a return to an old threshold in a different disguise. And here's a secret you probably already know but pretend to forget. Everything repeats. The cycle renews, twists, and folds back on itself. The existence doesn't need a reason. It simply is. A circle has no beginning and no end. It just turns. And so do we. We are our own premise and our own conclusion. Just when you think you've finally broken the chain, you realize you've just forged the next link. And in fact, the idea of progress might just be the most elegant deception ever devised by the human mind. And like ants, we, crawling on a giant leaf, so focused on our tiny path that we completely miss the forest around us, the vast, cyclical nature of time that we're a part of, and live our lives convinced the leaf is the entire world. However, even within this cycle, there are moments when the fabric of time seems to tear. These are what we can call singularities, points where time stops behaving as it should. Think of a tornado, a furious whirlwind that scrambles everything in its path. A temporal singularity is similar. It's a place where the neat line of time compresses, twists, and even cancels itself out, only to re-emerge, fundamentally changed. So, what happens when time breaks down like this? Strange things happen. Very strange things. Take, for example, the paradox of the grandfather. If you went back in time and prevented your grandparents from meeting, you wouldn't be born. But if you weren't born, how could you go back in time? It's an enigma with no solution, a labyrinth without an exit, a mystery that challenges us to understand what time really is. Yet these paradoxes are not just mental games. They are clues, signals that point to the fact that time is not what it seems. And what if singularities aren't just rare cosmic events? What if they are happening all around us, hidden in the folds of reality? Imagine that every choice you make, big or small, creates a new timeline, a different path into the future. These timelines aren't separate. They're all part of a vast, invisible web. The singularities, then, are the nodes in this web, the intersections where past, present, and future overlap. And our existence is just one thread among countless possibilities. Imagine time as a tree, A tree with deep roots in the past, branches reaching into the future, and leaves that represent the present. But in this tree, there are special nodes that connect different branches, different eras, different dimensions. These are the singularities. These nodes are not visible to everyone, but to those who know how to look, to those who know how to listen. And you, hearing these words, are drawn to these nodes. You feel the call of ancient knowledge, a whisper telling you that there's more, much more than what you see every day. Don't be afraid to follow this call. Don't be afraid to lose yourself in the labyrinth of time, to explore what escapes ordinary perception. Because only those who lose themselves can find the truth. The key is to stay curious, to question, and to constantly keep digging beneath the surface of things. Because the truth is often much stranger and more wonderful than we can imagine. Ultimately, time isn't our enemy. It's not a thief stealing our moments. It's our traveling companion. It's the very medium that allows the past to inform the future and makes every single moment unique. And for those who learn how to look beyond the veil of ordinary perception, it reveals itself not as a simple clock ticking on a wall, but as an entire universe of infinite possibilities. See you in the next episode.